I think this is a very important step for Pakistan. If we look around in the region, Pakistan has really fallen behind in petrochemicals. So if I look at India or China, in the same period, they have grown over than 10 times. So Pakistan is lagging behind, and that lag is resulting into these additional imports, the dollars that are flowing out. So it is the right time that Pakistan should now think about a policy so that investment comes in petrochemicals और ये पाकिस्तान का बोझ कम हुआ. I feel sorry to say this, but the fact is that there has been not enough attention by the government on industrialization. So other countries in India, Korea, China, you see that they have given longer visions, 20-year vision for industry to grow, and they have given a policy framework so that the investor knows that when I invest the money, this is what I'm going to get for the next 15 years, for 20 years. Here the political instability and one government blaming the other government that what went wrong in the previous government and changing the decisions. And then people like multinational companies running every year to the government to make sure that in the budget no drastic change is coming which affects their investment. So that instability, insecurity has continued, and that has resulted कि industrialization नहीं हुई petrochemical में, and now it's time that the government needs to pay it. So now we are reaching import bill which is very high. The demand, Pakistan population is growing. All this petrochemical ends up in consumer products and various products that the public uses. The demand has become very high, and now even such demand is there that you can actually implement a global scale plant which can be an efficient way to meet this demand. So this is the right time. If we miss this boat, I'm afraid that it is going to be too late to save this industry, and we may turn into a trading nation. We will just import. It can cater to regional needs also, because whenever you put up a petrochemical plant, the magic number is that at least 70% should be domestic consumption and 20 to 30% can be exported. That's kind of a feasible. If you have a plant which is, let's say, 20% domestic consumption and 80%, it's not going to work, because the businesses normally make money on the domestic sale, and on the export they're just trying to struggle and break even. It's not really very profitable to export at times. So for petrochemicals, 80% demand should be in Pakistan, and we have reached that stage. So when I talk about my company and when I talk to my major shareholders, they always talk to me about, if we put this money in Pakistan, if we put up a new PTA plant, are you sure that this tariff issue, minimum turnover tax issue will be resolved and will not be changed in, let's say, 10-year or a 15-year period? And frankly, I can't give them this opinion, because every year in the budget, I am struggling to make things happen, to make sure that the policy does not change. So this is the comfort that they're looking at. That's what they want. And believe me that the foreign investors are not looking for something which is out of market. They are looking at a regional competitive level. So our company says, for example, Lotte says that if tariff is 5% in India and it's 5% in China, then Pakistan should stay at 5%. They're not asking for 7 or 10. Pakistan, the tariff rate is different, tax rate is different, but tariff rate is the import duty, and that's the kind of little protection that an industry has to work in Pakistan. If that changes in petrochemicals, that makes a whole number. For me, if I go from 5% to 3%, means that from a profitable business, I go to an unprofitable business, a loss business. So that 2-3% is something so important, because the pricing is not in our control. It's very significant, and we are still a plant which is only 500,000 tons. And as I mentioned in the panel also, China is now around 55 million tons. they still maintain 5% tariff. They have economies of scale. They have better infrastructure than us. They have a much more better support from the government they have. But still, the protection there has been maintained at 5%. And इसकी reason ये है, tariff की protection petrochemical में इसलिए ज़रूरी है that petrochemicals go through a cyclical business. So there are up cycles and down cycles which are driven by demand and supply. So if you have a 5% protection or whatever the product is, for us it's 5%, then you are able to go through those up cycles and down cycles and retain your business. So if you look at our 24 years in Pakistan operation, I think only 7 or 8 years were profitable. Remainder are all losses. So this is all because of this uncertainty and the cyclical nature of the business. So tariff only gives you a little bit of stability that when the margins are low in the market, the tariff will be there to give you some protection and you can still sail. I wish it was done yesterday, obviously. I mean, this is something because the company was keen on investment. We have been talking to the government for the last 2-3 years. We are fortunate now that there are other players now, especially Engro. And I think with everybody joining in, I see that there is more attention on the subject. And we as a target are looking that before this budget, before the June budget, some policy is issued by the government. That's what we are looking at.